I'm excited to talk about this. I mean, the finale, I'll get into it, of course, but was, as they say, the chef's kiss. So well done.
It was brilliant,
Um,
wasn't it? Imagine
yes,
reading that. Imagine being the cast and getting that script.
yeah. Well, that was the word I was going to use. It's brilliant, and it's. I mean, I don't always have the right adjectives. I don't always have the ways to build it up, but that one really fits it. So let's go with brilliant.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
congratulations on the season.
Thank you.
It's one of my favorite. It may be my favorite of Fargo as a whole, and that says a lot.
Wow.
Um,
That's
but
saying something.
much, yes, oh, it is saying something, and much of that is because of Dot. She's such a great character.
Yeah, she really
But
is, isn't she?
yeah, but going back beyond that, before your character, what was it about Fargo that made you want to be part of this world?
Um, I think every installment of Fargo before, and also the film Fargo is something I watched when I was probably 14, 15, and just thought, wow, fuck me, this is amazing. But then to be able to create these chapters that stayed true to that is pretty mind-blowing. And the performances throughout each one of these chapters are masterclasses in acting, I think. And
Mhm.
and Noah Hawley, man, he's a man that's terrifying to work for and with, but also one of the greatest men I think I will ever get the privilege of working for and with. And becomes much less terrifying when you actually get there and you're working with him. But I think his brain and the way he writes Fargo and gives you an education as well as an emotional journey and characters that I was just talking about this, they are hard for somebody to live up to afterwards. Dot, a character like her does not come along very often, and the fact that he had faith in me to run around in her bare feet um is something that I am going to be eternally grateful for, because yeah, she's taught me a lot. And so did he, and so did the rest of the cast and the incredible crew. It was just a job that I honestly wish I could do it all over again.
Well, that's the best compliment, I guess. You're such a chameleon. I mean, I was blown away because I didn't watch trailers. I knew I loved Fargo. I knew you were in it. I'm like, I'm watching anyways. As I see you on screen, I mean, there's some very obvious kind of, surface level elements to Dot, your physicality, and of course the accent. Can you talk about both of those and what it took to get to that part of the performance?
Yeah. So the accent started whilst I was still playing Keely Jones. It was an interesting time to come visit me. There was Juno, then like Juno's Inside Thoughts, Keely Jones, and the beginnings of Dot. It was a wild moment. But um the accent is a huge part of her. I think the accent, the Minnesota Nice is, and you see this from the movie, the original film, the movie is fucking dark, but the
Hmm.
accent makes a lot of these moments, and the Minnesota Nice makes a lot of these moments have humor. And so it's a really important element of each installment of Fargo. And so nailing that was important initially, which took a minute. But once you get it, it's something that actually becomes quite hard to let go of. It's such a brilliant act. It's so musical. It's so enjoyable to get into, and the different phrases and the new words. Like I remember having to ask Noah what a commode was, and a vestibule. I was like, what are these things? And But that's also Noah's writing helps with that accent too. He helps you rhythmically be able to do that kind of musical uh rhythm for the Minnesota Nice. And then the physicality, I remember actually the first physical time I met Noah that wasn't on a Zoom. I was in LA for the Emmys last year and was doing a fitting for Dot. And he was like, I want to make it frumpy and dumpy. Like I want it to be the opposite of Ted Lasso. And I got trapped. I say trapped, like I couldn't undo a diamond tennis necklace that I'd worn for the event the night before. And the costume designer couldn't undo it. My fiance couldn't undo it. Noah couldn't undo it. And so all these outfits, he was like, why are you making them look cool? And I was like, it's because diamond tennis necklace. But we tried on a lot of looks. And also I think the key was to have the kind of light brown wig. It was about making her be your kind of wallflower, and then you see that in her past she was less of a wallflower with the blonde, and so this transformation that she's done is to be somewhat more invisible, so she can just be a mom, be a housewife, and cook and love her family and be loved by them, and then with the physicality stuff, I think it was important that people thought she wasn't capable of fighting the way she can fight, and that she couldn't get out of a situation that you think is impossible, and then she can. I think the element of her being able to surprise people on a constant basis, including Munk too, going from being the housewife that you think she is initially to being the tiger she is at the end, was a really important surprise to keep kind of peeling back every once in a while.
Yeah, she's quite disarming, and then she roars, and you're like, "Oh, where the hell did that come from?" It's like, she's hard not to fall in love with. She's such a fierce fighter, and she's literally fighting, but overcoming abuse and constant evil in her lifetime. But her motivations for everything are very selfless. What about the character you connect with?
I mean, nurture is a big thing in my life. I love loving people. I mean, I think her ability to have survived the domestic abuse she went through is heroic and inspirational. And I feel the same way about anyone that has survived domestic abuse. I truly think that they are a hero. And I think being able to go through something as horrific as that and come through it and want to love people is something that Dot will forever make me proud, that I got to play that and I got to go through all of that. I hope I go forth for the rest of my life with that kind of love in my heart. I really do.
That's great. Yeah, there's so many big moments in this, but then I think it's the smaller moments that really make those big moments land better and create a character that's not just, this secret superhero type. She's so very, multidimensional. And that really.
I think, and I know Noah has said this before, that actually her secret weapon is her kindness.
Yeah. It's like, well, that comes out in the finale. That's what I was going to get to is I thought this series was over. I thought, okay, we're going to come to credits. And then I'm like, wait, there's still like 10 minutes left. And you have this incredible closing scene with the unexpected dinner guest. I won't spoil it for everybody, but it's funny, it's awkward, it's scary. You've got a combination of buttermilk biscuits, compassion, forgiveness, family. What does that mean to you? Like you got to get to play a character. It won't, like I said, it won't land unless you kind of nail the rest of her. So what does that mean to you as an extension of this journey that she was on?
That her kindness proved to be the thing that we should believe in. Forgiveness is a really important thing. And that actually, if you are kind to people, even if they're people that frighten you or may have done a lot of scary things in their past, you don't have to see them for that. You can open your heart to somebody and it can create an extraordinary change in somebody where they feel that they're lovable. And I think that's something that is a gift that as a human we can give to other humans, and we should do it as much as possible, actually. And I think it's something that, you know, because a big through line in this season too is debt and what debt means for different people, whether it's money debt or whether it's human debt or whether it's kind of an ownership debt. And I think also allowing somebody to have a blank slate and saying, I want to know who you are right now, and I'm welcoming you here for that, and I love you for being here right now, so let's enjoy this moment, you know. And I think that's, and I think the fact that she survived what she did, and exactly that her instinct is to nurture, just proves that that's an important way to go forth in life.
Yeah, she's a great role model because especially right now, as you know, for this last decade or so, it seems it's everything's divisive. In this last 6 months, it's been the world's been just a complete mess. And you watch this and like, you know, I know it's a TV show, but we can take away, hopefully people watch it can take away a bigger message and something to like, hey, you know what? Maybe this will shift my thinking a little bit.
I have
You know, it's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's also, you know, I think Noah's brilliant for that. He gives you an education whilst also giving you these incredible humans to live in for a while. And I think all of us learn a lot with playing each one of our characters. And also how each character affected the next character. You know, some of my scene partners surprised me so much with how they affected me in a scene in ways that I didn't see coming. And am I a method actor? Not fully, no. I think I would have died many times if I had been super method, but I can't help but be somewhat method. And I think it was quite an amazing experience for me to have these different characters affect Dot in a way that also fueled the nurture in her, you know?
Yeah, well, diving into that a little bit, you had a great scene partner, uh, but never a positive moment between them with John Hamm.
Yeah.
What was it like working with him? You know, you're sparring both with your words and physically. So what was it like to be at each other's throats the whole time through?
It was an uncomfortable day at work, for sure. But it was one that was handled truly brilliantly by the production. And it was a closed set, which I think going forth, any project that has to deal with anything like that should be a closed set. And it was also, they actually, because playing Dot, I had a lot of people talk to me about their experiences with domestic abuse. A heartbreaking amount of people that you meet on a daily basis have been through it, whether it's personal or whether they've seen somebody they love go through it. And so it was something that, I think was very important to make sure that the crew that worked tirelessly with you and take care of you every minute of every day, also felt like that they were being taken care of, and the production also allowed it to be a day where if you didn't want to come to work, you didn't have to. And they also had a therapist that was a confidential therapist in a trailer that was there for anyone at any moment if they were triggered by anything. And I also think the day itself was handled really brilliantly and masterfully and respectfully by John. And I know it wasn't easy for him. It's not easy to play the monster in that sequence. But because of the respect with which he handled it, it meant that we could go to the places we needed to, whilst feeling safe doing it. And I'm also very grateful that we shot a certain amount and that they chose to not show all of it in the episode, because I think that actually makes it more impactful. We don't want to trigger people. We don't want to make people feel like something that they, I don't know, destroyed some of their light is being kind of put out there.
Exploited.
yeah, exploited like
Yeah.
that. And it felt like this episode really handled that brilliantly, as did Seven, the puppet show. And I just thought that was such a genius way to tell a heartbreaking and pretty horrific backstory with puppets, because again it shows you don't need to sit and watch things play out like that always. In fact, I think sometimes it makes it pretty unbearable to watch. And but John is so brilliant in this chapter of Fargo. He really goes there, and he's scary. He's fucking scary in
Oh
it.
yeah.
And but like I said, he was unbelievably respectful and set a really great tone, as did the production with handling shooting a sequence like that.
Yeah, it's like, the subject is very tough to approach, and
Yes.
you have to be respectful. And I think it was, but it is so, I mean, it destroys me to watch that, because it exists. Like, I don't see it in my life, luckily, but it's out there. And for John and you to go in there and to take on this kind of responsibility to the viewers, because a lot of the show you're laughing, you're having a good time, you're sitting back, but then it gets really real. So it's, thank you for exploring it and doing it with such kind of grace.
I mean, I have such respect for survivors of abuse like that. And yeah, I think they are unsung heroes, and I hope they feel that they can talk about it.
One real quick one just to
Yeah.
close it out. 3 words to describe Dot.
Mother, survivor, and protector.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your work. I mean, I absolutely loved it. It was, and like I said, it got to the end. I thought I was satisfied, and then we had this ending I didn't know we needed, but it really just like cements it as just one of the best. So thank you so much,
Thank you. Thank you for
and have a
talking.
great day.